the problem with Kanye West's legacy, and Kanye is a lot of things, a lot of things. Um, but I think he's one of those artists where, and I'm gonna start this section, with saying rest in peace to D'Angelo, a
R.I.P.
phenomenal musician, um, R&B pioneer, and I say that out of just clear respect, but I also think it kind of ties into what I'm saying here of D'Angelo, similar to Kanye, similar to Lauryn Hill, similar to Tupac, is one of those artists where who he was blended into and kind of affected the music more. Like artists are taught to like whoever you really are, don't show nobody that shit. Be somebody else. Artists are the best entertainers and actors in the world. We don't know who the hell they are. Like for real, for real.
Yeah.
Except for a rare few. D'Angelo was one of the ones that was like, yo, I'm just this phenomenal. I don't want to be a sex symbol. Oh, y'all want to make me a sex symbol and with the music and everything? All right, I got a trick for y'all. I'm sure other reasons had something to do with it, but I was like, all right, no more music then. Y'all ain't getting this. Since y'all want to make me something that I'm not as comfortable being, screw it. Y'all can't have it. The same thing with Lauryn Hill of why we don't get another Lauryn Hill album where um, even though like Nicki Minaj is the best female rapper of all time, if Lauryn Hill kept going, that wouldn't even be like a question or debate just from the high shooting frequency of that first album. She was another one that was like, I did it, had success with the Fugees. I don't really like all this shit. I'm gonna go and kick it somewhere else. Same thing with kind of Tupac of like, who he was bled into the music. What he was feeling, what was going on in the world, also like a Marvin Gaye, but what was going on in the world and who he was in the music. I think that's the same thing with Kanye West, and I think that is a big problem when it comes to Kanye West. And if you're a fan of the music, you might not even notice that this is a problem. Like Kanye is one of those who is probably one of the greatest producers that we ever have, but and is to his detriment. I guess his creativity of or who he is to the detriment of the music. Right? You have like what's your favorite Kanye album?
Wrong person to ask.
Yeah, I feel like I've asked you this before.
I'm about to say the reason why I say wrong person to ask because my family was pro 50 Cent, and like we was on the radio. Like if it wasn't like Keisha Cole, Chris Brown, certain like R&B, more R&B stuff, like I was hearing R&B in the crib or in the car. CD player, you was only getting it unless you bought it. You was getting it from like your family that burned it. Like I really didn't have outside of commercial Kanye. I really didn't get to sit down and listen to a Kanye project. So I'm the wrong person to ask.
Yeah. Well, like I only say that. All right. Are you familiar with the fact that the college dropout and late registration are classics?
Yes, I am very well familiar with.
Okay. And you remember like Good Life and everything on
Mhm.
graduation and stuff. That was a
Yep.
time. That was an era. So Kanye is one of those people that is, or producer artist, which is not always a rare combination, which is a rare combination of what I'm talking about, that is capable of creating what at least sonically is almost like a perfect album. Like Graduation is like a perfect album, even though Late Registration and College Dropout And Graduation they bring it in there too. I mean, classic and 808s, whatever. But Graduation and My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy are like perfect sonic albums, just from like a
Mhm.
musical standpoint. Like the music is crisp and clear. The production, it hits in the right places. You put all the people in the right places on the right songs, doing the right things, down to Chris Rock and everyone. And then from there, you get such a phenomenal album. And from there, there's a stretch where the music just sounds like demos or like clear rebellion of, oh yeah, y'all like this so perfect and polished. And he's talked about it, of saying that he hates Twisted Fantasy, of like, oh, y'all like this polished thing, all right, I'm gonna give y'all something completely different. And or even you get him like, like, oh, y'all like this, all right, cool, but I'm gonna give you the music where I'm trolling Drake. Yes, there's a question in the class.
Does Watch the Throne get thrown into his catalog of potential classics or classic?
Yeah, I do
Okay.
think as we further, I think there's a little bit of skips on Watch the Throne, but even yeah, same time period. So Watch the Throne, Twisted Fantasy, still from that time on, there wasn't any great Kanye albums. Yeezus was, I didn't like Yeezus at the time, and I still think I understand it a lot more now, but I didn't care for it. But even like Life of Pablo and Yay, and I always feel like there's something in there besides the gospel album I'm forgetting. Uh, at a certain point, it got to, he would rather rebel against the music fans and like troll Drake of like, oh, you want this beat? All right, I'm gonna just go on it and say poop diddy scoop and give y'all the worst record ever, as opposed to like making good music. And we see
Hmm.
that he's still capable of doing it, because I think for me, my favorite Kanye album is Donda. I still think Donda might be one of the, well, is one of the best albums this decade, and might be my favorite album that has come out this decade. I took a couple songs
Heartbreak
off
on
of
the full
there.
moon.
Huh?
Heartbreak on the full moon.
Yeah, so that this decade? No, that's last decade.
Mm.
That was a minute ago. Heartbreak
No,
on the
Heartbreak
Full
on the
Moon was
full
like
moon. No,
2018.
I seen that. Yeah. Well, are you talking about since 2020?
Yeah.
Gap year, bro. What you mean? That's JUCO. Nigga, 28. Nigga, everything from
No, it doesn't work like that. If we talk about music in this
oh,
decade, there's no
oh,
there's no gap
oh.
year. There's no we bring in 20. No, that's not what we're doing.
11-11 then. No. No, you got me. 11-11.
So yeah, I think that Donda was amazing, and then it's almost like a slap in our face if you like real fans of the music. I'm not a super Kanye fan. I mean, I have every Kanye album and everything, but um, just from, I guess I'm speaking more from like an artist and creator's perspective and from a fan perspective of like, yo, you was capable of doing this the whole time and just decided to give us that bullshit. If you, and I know a lot of super Kanye fans, it'd be a smack in the face. And that's where I get to like when we was on with the last topic of the Vultures album. The first one was cool, but I mean I had it on my phone, and like for me, how my phone works, since you can't organize these when you add music into Apple Music, it's either I'll download the album. If I really love the album, I'll keep it. If I just like a couple joints, I'll put it on a playlist and then I'll delete the album off of there to free up space. I had the Vultures album there for a minute. Then if I ain't listen to it, if I don't listen to something for like 6 months or a year, I delete that album. I gotta free up space.
Hmm.
Like I could still scroll down like on my phone, and there's the oldest album that I have in here. Oh look, I'm in there. The oldest album, and this might get deleted too, but the oldest album here is the Russ album, the Snow Globe album. That was fire, but that was 2020. Like I don't just add anything into here, and that's just because of how they constructed it. But I feel like that's a good gauge for me of like, all right, how is this music lasting with me? And that Vultures album, it was cool. I feel like that was a robbery once again of a usage of Ty Dolla Sign. And that
Hmm.
Vultures 2 album, I knew it came out. I didn't even know that shit was on streaming.
Yeah, I heard it was like there, and then it was, and then it was, and it was weird.
Yeah. So, but, so I don't know. I feel like Kanye has always been, at least as a music artist, too focused on being different. His antics aside, we already know he got some deep shit with him. Antics aside, too focused on being different and everything. And but there's a benefit of if you could do that and go a good 10-year span and not give us great music and then come back 10 years later and give us some of your best music. And I think for artists like him, there's always hope that, all right, he can still give us some fire. And there's a lot of artists that we look at now of like, they can't.
Is it we saying he still could give us fire because there's nobody that's been able to pop as a music artist with since 2020, or is it like are we holding on to hope because of that, or is it because you really feel like that? Because at some point you was able to be like, all right, you know what? This used to be my favorite artist, but you know what? This other person, he raw, he going crazy, and it's like, all right, he going crazy with it. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
Um, I think that resources have something to do with it. And like a lot of these artists don't have the budget to pull from a lot of resources. So Kanye could pull writing from Dollar Sign and Tiller
can he?
and production. What?
Can he still pull from those artists? He ain't burn them bridges.
I, I, um, I think when you be quiet long enough and you got enough money that I think the only bridges he didn't really burn as far as collaborating with him is uh, probably just Jay-Z and Beyonce. I think we'll still get another Drake and Kanye at some point. I think uh, yeah, I don't think people fully burn their bridge with Kanye musically for some reason.
With that being said, why wasn't he on the Dollar Sign album? If they just did back to back albums, they could have. But they did Vultures One and Vultures Two. It could have been a little feature on there.
Oh no. Okay. I might not fuck with you enough to want to put you on my shit, even if it's a look, because one, the Kanye look now ain't the same as the Kanye look in 2008 or anything. But I like this bag that you gonna give me, so I'll go work on your shit. I'm just not bringing you over here.
So you telling me if you was Kanye, you wouldn't try to use money as leverage to be like, all right, word. You may not be whatever, you may not rock with me right at this current point, but yo, you put me on your album. You give me the spotlight to shine the way I wanna. You know what I'm saying? I want to be seen in a certain light. Put me on your album, and then I get you on the. When I say on the back end, I don't mean like paying on the back end. It's like, all right, I get a runway again, and I'll put you on this runway.
Only reason I'm say no is because like Kanye ain't even ever really done like a lot of features. And I mean, I guess the bar for a lot of features is like Wayne status features. But even lower than that,
Right?
Like he done features with people, but he never been like crazy all over like everybody's album. And like if you was looking for Kanye on somebody's album, you was looking for him to be producing. And he very
That's
well
true,
could
though.
have been producing on Dollar Sign album. All right, your Bridges point might be a little bit. Some people might work with him too closely. Sometimes be like, all right, I gotta get the fuck away from you. But that's why I say I don't think they're forever burned. Like sometimes they seem like eventually they're like, all right, I just need you. Like I just need to mute you for a little bit. I'll circle back.
Or or we get away from the music point. You want to hear a great example of, I rock with you, but musically it may not be there. Diddy and Los.
And Puff was in my mind when I was thinking of this point of when you was like burn bridges. Um, can't I drink all my water?
Bro.
Yeah, cause I was looking that up the other day trying to find the joint that Los wrote for him. Yo, he screwed him twice too.
What you call it? The one he did on that Drake song.
At the Loving You No More.
No, what? No. Fall for your type. The fall for your type shit. That's what the deal. That was what the deal with Puff, right? From Los.
That was Jamie Foxx.
No, I'm saying. Well, remember, because we heard Drake first, then we
Mm-hmm.
heard Jamie Foxx, but then Los did a freestyle about his deal.
Oh, yeah.
This ain't about no girl. This about the deal I lost,
Mm-hmm.
which
Oh,
was
yeah, I know what
with
you're talking about.
Puff. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think the first time he had lost the deal on like his man's, some happened with his man's, and then had lost it again before Puff went to jail or something. Yeah, shit, that's his fault, yo. First two times shame. I'll always be bad with that saying. Um, what was your question?
That's a good question. We was talking about burning bridges, and I brought up Puff and Los. Yeah, I'm thirsty some more. Okay, I need some more. Trying. Yeah. Now it was something about. It was me trying to push the topic further, but it was about, like I said, we was talking. You was talking about Kanye and burning bridges, and I was like, what you call it? And he was like, maybe the bridges aren't fully burned, but maybe it may not be in the same
Yeah, it might just be a
state
little
that it was
pause
currently.
sometimes.
Yeah, and I was like, maybe, what I'm saying, certain people they can't connect on the music level, but they connect on like a different level. So it's like Los and Puff. Like you
Yeah,
seen Los running around with Puff, and if you knew about the whole Los and Puff thing, like it's like, all right,
word.
got to do, you don't, you got to do, you
Shit,
don't.
yeah, and after the first time, wouldn't have been with you, but you get
Yeah.
me in there somehow the second time. But I mean that I think that's how um Kanye and Puff are similar in that aspect of they good at. You ready for this? They good at dangling shit in front of people, and they know how to get them to be coerced. And we ain't get to do our Diddy episode.
Yeah,
They're good at coercing people into doing what they want. So, uh, yeah, some people have that thing with them, and they get to be slightly honest about it the whole time, and then still get you to do what they ultimately want them to do. But
Mhm.
I think if you're a Kanye super fan musically, I think at some point, as always, you end up pissed of like, damn, why does he do this?